Is up, FPG fam? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Genshin Impact video. So one of the most common questions that I've been seeing in reference to Yelan is if I have Xingqiu or I have a C6 Xingqiu, do I need or have to pull for Yelan? And to answer that question simply and honestly and quickly is that no, I don't believe so. Now this is just my opinion, but I think if you have a really nicely built Xingqiu, you don't need or have to pull for Yelan because of how similar they are. But with that being said, they do have some differences, and I wanted to talk about that in today's video. I wanted to do a full breakdown on Xingqiu and give you the reasons why, if you have them built, then you don't need to pull for Yelan. I want to break that down, but I also want to talk about the differences between the two and why I think Yelan is better and the reasons for it and the reasons why they're different, and that she's not simply just a 5-star Xingqiu, because I think that's a common misconception that's floating around the community that I think is simply incorrect, once again just based off of my opinion. So if this video helps, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and drop a like, sub if you're new. We would love to have you stick around and join the FEG family. Let's go ahead and talk about it. We're going to break down Xingqiu first, do a full breakdown, so that way you have a full understanding of why he's so good and why, if you have him built, you don't need to pull or have to pull for Yelan. So we have our Xingqiu pulled up here, and we're going to take a look at his talents first, because his talents and his kit and what he brings to the table for your account is fantastic. We're going to start with his elemental skill, which his elemental skill, as you can see, does a lot for a 4-star. So not only is it going to do hydro damage, but what it's also going to do is when a character takes damage, the rain sword will shatter, reducing the amount of damage taken. So you're going to take reduced damage. You're going to increase your resistance to interruption, which is always a great thing. You guys know I love that. And then 20% of Xingqiu's hydro damage bonus will be converted to additional damage reduction for the rain swords, which is phenomenal. Now the maximum amount of additional damage reduction that can be gained this way is 24%. The additional maximum number of rain swords is 3. So his elemental skill is phenomenal. It does a lot. It's great. And that really separates Xingqiu from Yelan, because Yelan cannot do any of that except the hydro damage bonus. She doesn't have the increased resistance to interruption. She doesn't have reduced damage taken. All she's really doing is the hydro damage bonus, which is similar to Xingqiu. So that right there sets him apart within his elemental skill. If we take a look at his elemental burst, this is his coordinated attacks where his swords are going to be raining down, doing damage, applying the hydro status. Fantastic. And this is where they're similar. Yelan and Xingqiu, they both are able to do this, and this is the similarity between the two. If we take a look at his first passive, when a rain sword is shattered or when its duration expires, it regenerates the current character's HP based on 6% of Xingqiu's max HP. It's not a huge healing that you get from this, but it is healing nonetheless, which is another thing that separates Xingqiu and Yelan apart, and what also brings tons of value to Xingqiu on any team that you slot him in, because of this healing, because of the damage reduction, because of the increase ignore interruption, because of the damage that he's able to do with the coordinated attacks. This is where Xingqiu starts to put things together within his kit and within his skills. And then his second passive, Xingqiu gains a 20% hydro damage bonus, just allowing him to be able to do some more damage. So between the elemental skill, the elemental burst, his first passive, second passive, Xingqiu starts to really show why he's arguably one of the best characters in the game, just in his kit alone, right? That's not even talking about his constellations, which we are going to talk about his constellations, because most people, especially if you've been playing for quite some time, have constellations unlocked, and most likely all the constellations unlocked, so C6. So if we take a look at his first constellation, it increases the maximum number of rain swords by 1. Great. The second constellation, which I think is fantastic, it extends the duration of the rain cutter by 3 seconds, and it decreases the hydro resistance of opponents hit by rain sword or sword rain attacks, by 15% for 4 seconds. So this is phenomenal because it's decreasing the hydro resistance of the opponents hit by the sword rain attacks. So this is where, if you have another hydro character alongside Xingqiu, or just Xingqiu himself, so for example like Child and Xingqiu, or Kokomi and Xingqiu, or even some people have been theorizing Yelan and Xingqiu, this is going to allow that other character to be able to do more damage, or Xingqiu himself, right? Which is phenomenal. Then we have the C3, which is of course increasing talent. And then the C4, throughout the duration of the rain cutter, the damage dealt by the fatal rain screen is increased by 50%. Just more damage, right? That's great. And then if we take a look at the C6, activating 2 of the rain cutter's sword rain attacks greatly enhance the third sword rain attack. On hit, the third sword rain attack also regenerates 3 energy for Xingqiu. So not only is the coordinated attacks going to be able to do more damage, but they're actually regenerating energy for Xingqiu, so he can get his elemental bursts off more often, or at least have his elemental burst ready to go more often, right? You don't really necessarily have to worry about energy too much, especially if you're running the sacrificial sword on him. You're gonna be good to go, and that's why the C6 is so valuable. So you couple the constellations with his entire kit, and you can see why you don't or need to have to pull for Yelan. If you have a really nicely built Xingqiu, he gets the job done, and he gets the job done really well. At this point, if you're pulling for Yelan, is because you enjoy her kit, her gameplay, and what she's doing for your account, and the difference between Xingqiu and Yelan, you value that on your account, which we're going to talk about right now. So what really separates Xingqiu and Yelan? Well, we talked about what Xingqiu is doing within his kit that separates him from Yelan, which is great. But what is Yelan doing that separates herself from Xingqiu and just not a 5-star Xingqiu like everybody likes to label her as? Well, it's really within the amount of damage that she's going to be able to do, which I think, if I'm reading it on paper correctly, is going to be greater than Xingqiu. We're going to have to try it in game, test out builds, test out artifacts, test out weapons and teams to see if that's truly the case. But I think she's going to be able to output more damage. But not only that, if you take a look at her second passive, which I think is what really separates her, that second passive, that passive increase in damage for the active character, I just think that's going to be extremely valuable. And that's something that Xingqiu cannot do, right? They both have the coordinated attacks, but she's going to be passively increasing the damage of the active character. I just value that tremendously. I did a video, it's probably been about a month or two now, about why Yelan is worth it. So I don't want people to misunderstand thinking that I'm devaluing Yelan in any way. I think she is phenomenal. I think she's a fantastic character, and I think she is worth on your account, but I have to also see the other side of it and make sure that I am properly advising people where to place their intertwined fates and primo gems, because they are a finite resource. So if you are happy with your Xingqiu, he's built, you're content with him, and you don't need or have to have Yelan in terms of her gameplay and her design and what she's doing, then I would say save and go for a future character, right? But there are differences between the two, and Yelan in her own right is going to be absolutely fantastic. Anyways, guys, I hope this video wasn't too convoluted or too confusing in any way. Hopefully I was able to answer that question for you guys, and hopefully this helps you make the right decision moving forward, whatever it is that you guys want to do. Anyways, I'm going to get on out of here. If you really enjoyed the video, you can drop a super thanks. It's greatly appreciated. Means the world to me. If you want to also support in another way, you can click the link in the description down below. It's to the sponsor of the channel, Gamer Subs. You can pick yourself up a spicy waifu shirt or a waifu cup, and it directly supports the channel, helps us to do bigger and better things. And I greatly appreciate it. It means the world to me, guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to get on out of here. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. My name is Cody. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.